Good evening. Good evening. On behalf of the Board of Education, it is my privilege to call to order our evening meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 27th. Special welcome to another full auditorium this month. Those watching us via online as well. ABSS staff, students, families, I see lots of community partners. Commissioner Thompson and Priola, I think are with us out there somewhere. And as always, our friends from the media. Really quickly, before we move into our first piece of business, I do want to take a moment to wish a very happy birthday to our Vice Chairman, Mr. Dan Engel, who told me not to say anything. So, and then real quick, good luck to our Western girls who are, I think, at this moment playing for the 3A East Regional Championship tonight. At this time, I will welcome Honorable Judge Craig Turner to the floor and our newest board member, Dr. Eric Hall, for his swearing in, and family is welcome to join him as well.
Dr. Hall, would you like to introduce your family?
Sure. This is Spencer Hall. He's at 4th grade at Elon Elementary. And this is Gemma Hall, 2nd grade at Elon Elementary. And then this is my wife, Catherine Hall, Dr. Catherine Hall.
Dr. Catherine Hall, would you hold the Bible for your husband? Thank you. You ready?
Yep.
All right, if you raise your right hand and put your left hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I, Dr. Eric Hall,
I, Dr. Eric Hall,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support, maintain, and defend
I will support, maintain, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith.
and the laws, Constitution of North Carolina and the, sorry.
That's okay. And the
Nervous.
and the you got to get used to that. And the Constitution and laws
And the Constitution and laws
of the state of North Carolina,
of the state of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith.
not inconsistent therewith.
That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
I will be truthful and bear true allegiance
and faithful
and faithful
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof.
for the government thereof.
And that I will well, truly, and faithfully
I will well, truly, and faithfully
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a board member
as a board member
of the Alamance Burlington Board of Education,
of the Alamance Burlington Board of Education,
according to the best of my skills and abilities,
according to the best of my skills and abilities,
and according to law.
and according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations and a very special welcome on behalf of the board. And Dr. Hall, you have to press the little button when you talk. My apologies.
Thank you.
We'll cover that in orientation, right?
At this time, I turn the floor over to Seneca Rogers for our moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance.
Would everyone join me in a moment of silence? And now let's stand for the pledge.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Board members, you've had an opportunity to review the agenda. Is there a motion to approve at this time?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. Board members, you've had an opportunity to review the minutes from 2 April meetings. Is there a motion to approve those as presented?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0. There are 7 items on our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve those as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, board members. Really quickly on Board of Education business, there is a North Carolina School Board's board member training session Monday, July the 21st. It's from 9 to 4. There's no cost to the board members to attend. There is an agenda, a draft agenda at your seats. If you're interested in attending that training, please get with Ms. Chandler. She'll get you registered. And at this time, I will turn the floor over to Dr. Charles Parker for a number of recognitions this evening. I will take a quick second to give you the order in which we're going to recognize. Our first honorees are the Science Olympiad District winners from Alexander Wilson Elementary School. Then that will be followed by the Governor's School students, all state art students, our high school jazz band from Western Alamance, our National Board Certified teachers and counselors, and an Anne Marie Collins Honored Educator Scholarship presented by the North Carolina Center for Advancement of Teaching. And we will begin with, to welcome our Science Olympiad District winners, and teachers, coaches, parents for Alexander Wilson Elementary School.
All right. Good evening, Chair Graves, members of the board, Dr. Fleming. We, like you mentioned, it's, sometimes in May, we have the tendency to pack a lot into 1 month, and that is no exception tonight for our recognitions. We're packing a lot in. So I would like to introduce Miss Erica Bauer, and she will talk a little bit about this wonderful Science Olympiad team.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Fleming. Every year we host our Alamance Elementary Tournament at ACC. We're so grateful for them willing to host us. This year, Alexander Wilson became our first place champions with a total of 11 medals out of 15 events possible. This is an amazing feat for these students. These students compete in everything from building towers to flying airplanes to becoming biologists and breaking codes. Within their 11 medals out of the 15 events that we have, they have 2 third-place finishes, 2 second-place finishes, and astounding 7 first-place medals among the team members this year. So we'd like to give a huge round of applause to Alexander Wilson's team.
Test. Okay.
Testing.
Fantastic. Is we have a certificate for the maybe for the coach? I was looking. He snuck off in the back. I was looking around for the other green shirt, or I didn't see it. So fantastic. Okay, so congratulations. And so your team. So what was your favorite event? Not the one necessarily you placed the highest in. What did you like the most? I did optics a lot, as far as Science Olympiad. Okay, got your tongue. Anything? It's okay. Speak up. Okay, super sleuths. And what was that? What did you?
CSI type stuff.
Oh, very good. Hey, fantastic, fantastic. Great. So, are there parents or family members here to support the students? If probably spread out in the hallway and so forth. And very good. And I don't know. Sometimes a principal or other folks from the school. I'm going to ask you to say something next after, just to make sure that we recognize everybody who came to support the team.
Excellent. The biggest thing, a lot of our folks from our administration are somewhere. We have a lot of things in our school going on this evening. However, our parents and things, you get things like this because you have parents that are willing to bring kids to practice till 5 o'clock or however late when the coach says, hey, by the way, we need one more practice, The parents are able to do that stuff, and they're able to study with them at home and those kinds of things. But most importantly, these young people are accomplishing great things.
It's
We're excited to see what they're going to do.
absolutely, and congratulations from the Board of Education. It's a lot of work and a job well done. So if we could recognize them. A suggestion was maybe family could come up and take pictures quickly, or do you think that's?
In the hall, if you want to come in and take any pictures, now's your chance.
What could go wrong?
Nothing. Is we gonna shovel? Yeah. We're getting in. Yeah. I think you need to get on I told Angie I'd help her out.
Okay, and as this group is leaving, I'm going to invite Angie Reed, our K-12 Advanced Learners Coordinator, up to help recognize our Governor's School students.
So we were able to nominate 27 students from ABSS to the Governor's School. Those were our district nominees. And we got news in April that 11 of our students were accepted and will attend the 2025 North Carolina Governor's School. This is a 4-week summer residential camp for the best and brightest of across our state. And so we're really pleased and proud of our students for being first nominated and then, of course, being accepted. So in the area of natural science, Kayla Armfield is a student from Southern High School. She was also our superintendent's choice. She will be attending for natural science. And Megan McLaughlin, who attends Western, will also be attending for natural science. Is Megan here? Megan, okay, thank you. That's right. Avery LaPlante from Williams High School will attend for social science. Yeah, getting through the crowd. Thank you. In the area of mathematics, James Powell, a student at Williams High School. And Jack Wells, who attends Southeast. In the area of English, we have Cesar Kellis Ramos, from Eastern High School, Camila Estadio Plata from Southeast High, and Marissa Maureen from ABEC. And in the area of visual arts, we have Catherine Kimmery from Williams High School, Eva Skinner from Eastern, and Caroline West from ABEC. So congratulations to you all. We know you will represent ABSS well this summer. And I'll let you go.
Fantastic. When people in my cohort, as far as age, were applying for governor's school, it was very competitive, and I know it's only more so now. Is this working? Great. Hard to tell. And so congratulations, very well done. And do you have parents or loved ones here with you, supporting you? We should probably recognize them because they help get you to school and back and some of those things. Anybody, we recognize parents or anyone else? It is okay if not?
Come on, parents.
Photo.
Y'all worked hard too.
Very nice. Congratulations again. Thank you.
All right, and next up, I'm going to invite Andy Carter, our curriculum specialist for cultural arts, world languages, PE, and health. He's coming up to the podium to recognize some of our excellence in arts. And we have a bunch of them.
And I will move as quickly as I can. Appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. North Carolina has shown the recognition of the important role the arts play in our students' growth and development by instituting the arts graduation requirement that starts this year for our 8th grade students across the state, as well as implementing the arts diploma seal for our seniors this year for the first time. And we have 45 students that have qualified for that seal the first year. So this evening we get to recognize students who are recognized with any all-state label across our various programs. And we'll start with chorus. And from Hallfields Middle School, where Aria Westbrook is the director and Lauren Ancom is the principal, Brody Sima, Paul Diggs, Helen Flores Lopez, Amiri Giddens, Gracelyn Grubb, Anaya Harrigan, Mason Hernandez, Nevaeh James, Miriam Karen, Lillian Lawson, Zoya Martin, Marily Martinez, Loriana Matos Pagan, Alexis Roberson, Nia Stroud, Rosia Vasquez Bruno, and Sophia Vasquez Bruno from Hallfields Middle School.
Okay, so this may go very well or very poorly as far as happening.
We can give them to Aria and she can do it if you wanted to.
Where is she? Yep.
That would be fantastic.
Let's just do school.
Yes. Okay. For this, because I always forget how small.
Sorry, y'all have to look at my backside like you do when we conduct race. Unite.
She is sick this evening. No, she's in a class this evening, but he's here if we need him. He's in the hallway.
Walk to me. What am I doing? Lily. Lou Lawson. Zoya. Lou Martin. Marielle. And Lariana. We had a slow Alexis Roberson. Mia Stroud. Sophia Vasquez Bruno. And Rocio Vasquez Bruno. I think that's our crew. Did y'all get one? All right, I love you.
Okay, fantastic. And do any folks have parents here with you as far as maybe we could do this picture first and have the parents come up to stand behind them? I'm looking for great. Big smile. Okay, big smile. Well, that sounds like a plan then. Teacher. Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, Miss Acom.
Yes.
She's trying to.
Fantastic. And would you like to say anything about the course or any comments or? Well, wait for the microphone.
Quite differently with band and orchestra and choral worlds, but we are just so happy that y'all are taking time to honor this for us, just as a whole group in terms of the arts. And thank you to Mr. Carter for his support. I know for choir land, especially in middle school, these kiddos have been in my classroom, and their parents have been so supportive of picking them up. Gosh, we always run late, don't we, y'all? Sometimes 5, sometimes 6. And it started in January, and it culminated in April. And so these kiddos have lived at school with me and really have become true musicians who are just so skilled and ready for success in high school and any arts world that they choose to pursue. And I'm just so proud of them. And our school had the largest percentage at Hawfields of middle school representation at all state across the entire state. And so that's something really to be proud of. And these are just 11 of our crew of 17, and so we're just happy to be here. Thank y'all so much.
Fantastic. Let's acknowledge them one more time. All right, thanks, everyone. All right, thank you.
Continuing with All-State Choir, we have from Turrentine Middle School, Megan Henry is the director, and she is not able to be with us tonight. Scott Moore is the principal there at Turrentine. Elena Ceballos, champion. Abigail Gotwell-Rivas, Hazel James, Deja Roberson, Sarah Sanders, and Carson Tolley. Any of our Turrentine All-State Choir members may come forward at this time.
It's a smaller group. Does anyone want to come up? Maybe the principal, or okay if not. Do you have any family here or loved ones who help support you as far as getting you to and from school? Let's have you folks come down. It's a full participation event. If there are any family members.
Jordan's here, so she can.
Yes.
Great. Let's acknowledge them one more time. Thank you.
Okay, and from Western Alamance Middle School, where Jordan Doss is the director and Aaron Acom is the principal, we have several students making All-State Choir choir there as well. Kelvin Hernandez, Caleb Marks, Lane Satterfield, Michaela Summers, Frederick Woods. Quinn Beeman, Amelia Doss, Clarissa Gomez, Melise Kelly, Eliza Perkins, Mackenzie Rollins, Robin Tillman, and Tristan Williams from Western Alamance Middle for All-State Choirs.
Would you like to say anything about your group or hand them out? Or I mean, I guess I can't say anything about your group.
You can make it up. It'd be
That's
lovely.
fine. Let's do the certificates, and then you can say something, and then if there's
Amelia.
I'm going to do all orchestra together since it's 2 schools and not many kids. If that's okay with you.
fantastic.
Thank you. We had 13 from Western qualify for All-State, so this is our cohort that was able to join us tonight. I second everything Ms. Westbrook said, and we are just thrilled with the continued support of the arts. It has been proven time and time again that students who are consistently involved in the arts excel in every area of their life. They excel even academically without any additional work because music is so activating for the entire brain. Thank you again for your continued support of the arts. I obviously on my own think it's pretty important, but it is great to have the backing of the board and my principal and all the parents that are here this evening. Thank you so much.
So everyone knows what happens next. The parents and other loved ones come up, and then we take a few more pictures.
You're good. You're good.
Congratulations again. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move on to orchestra. We had 2 schools that had students that qualified for All-State Orchestra, and we'll do those together this evening. These next set, orchestra, band, jazz, all required individual, multiple rounds of auditions, one-on-one, to qualify for All-State. And All-State Orchestra from Turrentine Middle School, Rex Sanderson is the director and Scott Moore is the principal. We have Connor Fogg, Michael Peralta, Ian Ramirez, and Ian Scott. And then from Walter Williams High School, where Veronica Boscocho is the director with Curry Bryan as principal, Ashlyn West, our All-State Orchestra students. You got a 50% chance.
So while we're getting a couple pictures, how many rounds, you have to look at the camera, but listen to me talk, how many rounds of auditions were there? It was one after the other. It's pretty good as far as the All-State.
So for orchestra, it is only one set of auditions, but you have different categories.
Okay.
So for us, we had to do scales and solo repertoire, and I think there was sight reading on this audition, and some sight reading. So
Got it.
a lot of preparation.
I understand. Very good. And the same thing as before, parents, loved ones, come on down. You have to get a picture taken.
Correct. Gang's all here. He offered me as a 103 temperature. I told him no. No before exams. flows in so naturally. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. You got it. Thank you.
Okay, for All-State Jazz, from Western Alamance High School, Michael Jefferson, the director, Bear Bryant, the principal, Bob Jefferson, All-State Jazz.
Great. The certificate handout is going to be painless and quick this time. Congratulations. And do you have pictures for this? Fantastic. And then parents, come on down and get
One and the same.
a photo. Congratulations again.
And we had 5 students from 4 different schools make All-State Band, general band from Hallfields Middle School with Jennifer Payne, the director, and Lauren Aiken, principal, Mason Bloyd, and Gavin Tripp. From Southern Alamance High School, Ashton Albright, director, Christy Mills, principal, Jana Dixon. Then Southeast Alamance High School, Dylan Haitley as the director and Eric Yarborough as principal, Aiden Bedingfield. And then from Walter Williams High School, Rose Diaz, director, Curry Bryan, principal, Kaylin Falley. They're all state band students for this year.
Okay. So Ms. Payne, would you like to come up and say anything, or any other folks? Yep. All right.
See how these 2 of them belong to me, and then one of them has moved on to the high school with Mr. Hatley. Just so you guys know, the way that All-State Band works is they have to audition for district and score in the top of their district, and then audition again against everybody who is the top in their district, just to be able to make the All-State Band. So it's an incredible accomplishment, and these students have worked so hard. These parents have been so supportive, and we obviously appreciate the board being supportive of the arts, and shows by this accomplishment of these wonderful students, and so we're so proud of them.
Fantastic. So once again, if there are parents or maybe with a teacher and a parent. Congratulations, everyone.
And then thank you for your patience. But finally this evening, it's been an outstanding year for the Western Alamance High School Jazz Ensemble, where Michael Jefferson is the director, Bear Bryant principal. We have 3 different accolades for that one ensemble this year that we'd like to bring to your attention. First is high school musicians from all over the country competed in the annual competition through audition and application, and were judged by a team of professional musicians on sound, technique, intonation, and presentation. So again, this is not state, this is a national competition. The Jerry and Franca Mulligan Foundation has announced that Bob Jefferson is first place in the nation for their jazz audition. So we recognize Bob Jefferson.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wait
So,
till you hear him play. Wow.
Very good. Do you have parents here? Anyone who wants to say anything? You kind of know what the drill is. I think
They just came up.
they already got the picture. All right. Okay. Very good. Well, if you've already gotten the pictures and everyone's happy and copacetic from that standpoint, and we could go over there and take the picture as well. If that's so. Let's acknowledge him again. Thank you.
The state of North Carolina has 3 regions that the jazz ensembles are broken up into, Central, West, and East, and each name an Educator of the Year for every year. And so one of the 3 Jazz Educators of the Year in North Carolina this year is our very own Michael Jefferson from Western Alamance High School.
Okay, very good. Yep. You have to hold the certificate up. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's right. The whole thing. So they've already have the pictures, but
Tell him to
congratulations. It's very good.
Stay right there. Yep.
And then finally, the Western Alamance High School Jazz Ensemble is being recognized, the entire ensemble. They were selected for their performance, selected to perform at this past November's Music Educators In-Service Conference. This itself is an audition process where bands are screened and they get chosen. This is one of the largest professional development opportunities for music educators in the Southeast. And so they came together and they played, not daunting at all, they played for a room full of educators. Our young students here at Western Alamance, they spent several days there taking in clinics and performances and lots of preparation. And I believe generally there's 1 to 2 ensembles per discipline that got to perform. And so Western Alamance's Jazz Ensemble performed. I was honored to be there. They did an outstanding job representing ABSS and Western Alamance well. So we would like to invite the Western Alamance Jazz Ensemble forward at this time.
Are you the team captain? You get to hold the. No, okay. Okay, fantastic. And you know, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything about the ensemble or this recognition for them as far as.
Well, this is only about a third of the ensemble. There's 17 or 18 kids in it, but couldn't all make it tonight. It was an honor to do that. It's the second time that our band's done that. We did it once in 2017 and again in 2024. And like Andy said, only 2 other groups in the state or 1 other group in the state was selected to play. So we were one of 2. It was a fun experience. And thank you, Sandy, for showing up to the gig. Appreciated you being there. Thanks for y'all's support. Appreciate you guys recognizing everybody.
Thank you. Okay. Parents, come on down. Let's keep moving. Great. Thanks. Thanks again. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Andy. All right. Tonight, we are also proud to recognize a group of exceptional educators who have achieved one of the highest honors in the education profession, National Board Certification. This rigorous performance-based process takes 1 to 3 years to complete and requires teachers and counselors to deeply reflect on their practice, demonstrate their impact on student learning, and meet the highest standards in the field of education. Earning this certification is a testament to their dedication, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to excellence in our schools. It's not only a personal achievement, but a powerful investment in our students, their schools, and our entire district. So tonight we have 6 staff members that earned their certification in December. Jody Carson, a counselor from Southern Alamance High School. Amy Carter, a CTE teacher from Southeast Alamance. Ashley Cole, counselor from Hillcrest Elementary School. Heidi Frum, EC teacher from Andrews. And Nicole Huey, a kindergarten teacher at BE Jordan. What? Amy Carter, April Simpson Coble. There you go. I have to turn the page. Hold on. Hold on.
Bonus friend in this one.
Okay, nope, can't leave quite yet. So yeah, family, if possible. Is that okay? And if you, no, not for me. Okay. Right. Very- Yep. And I've you know, and I have to say, I've heard you can all escape if you'd like, but I was going to say, I've heard this is about like a master's degree as far as the amount of work. I don't know if anyone wants to give some insight into folks in the process or any comments. You've probably done all the self-reflection during the application process and are out now, but that's any other. Well, you know, thank you for doing this for the students, and congratulations again.
And I'm sorry I missed April on our list. She's a career development coordinator at Western Alamance. Thank you.
She's our breadwinner now.
Okay, and finally, I'd like to introduce Dr. Brock Womble with the North Carolina Center for Advancement of Teaching for our last recognition of the evening. Oh, and Judy.
Obviously, I'm not Brock Womble, but I must tell you, I have enjoyed this evening already immensely. My name is Judy Phillips, and I'm Burlington born, bred, and the only disappointment was I was hoping that someone from Grove Park would have been honored for something, and I would have completed my whole memory lane trip this evening, because it was Grove Park, Turntine, and Williams. So thank you for allowing us with NCAT to be here this evening. So Board Member Superintendent Fleming, thank you very, very much. I'm here because NCAT, and I serve on the Development Board, has an Honored Educator Scholarship Program, which provides an opportunity to pay tribute to outstanding individuals and educators by establishing scholarship funds in their names. An endowment of $25,000 is needed to fully fund a scholarship. Each fully endowed scholarship is awarded annually to a North Carolina teacher. The scholarship supports all costs related to the recipient's selected program, including program materials, instruction, food, lodging, transportation, and substitute teacher at our Cullowhee or the Ocracoke campus. In addition to the NCAT experience, each recipient will receive a cash award for classroom use of $250. The Anne Marie Collins Honored Educator Scholarship was established in the honor of Anne Marie by her mother, Barbara Collins. Barbara was working as a lead teacher in the Alamance County school system at the time when I was serving as assistant superintendent. And when Anne was 16, she and her mother had moved to North Carolina. She graduated from Williams High School, and after graduation, Anne attended Leon's Beauty School and worked at salons in Burlington and Graham until she went to work at Replacements Limited in Greensboro, and a lot of us remember that place very well. Anne found her niche at Replacements. She loved working in the showroom with all of the people. Anne spread joy wherever she went and never knew a stranger. She cared about everyone she knew and tried to help them. Anne died in a car accident caused by a drunk driver. Ironically, she was at that place in the road because she had taken the time to drive someone home from a club who had had too much to drink. Her friends said that was typical of her taking the time to help someone. This scholarship honors the legacy of Anne Marie Collins, who cared about everyone she knew and tried to help them all. Because Anne Marie lived, there is more to love in the world than there would have been without her. Barbara Collins, her mother, still lives here in Burlington and would have been here tonight except for a 103 temperature that kept her home. And so she is hopefully watching this online, or I'm sure we'll share very much about this with her. But today, we are thrilled to announce that Wendy Lampin, Alamance Burlington School Systems Teacher of the Year, has been named the inaugural recipient of the Anne Marie Collins Honored Educator Scholarship. Congratulations, Wendy. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And that's it for us tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Thank you, Emily Lynn. Now that's how you kick off a meeting. Board members, we're going to take a quick recess, maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll resume for business. My apologies, I misunderstood the directions.
It's my fault.
I'm so sorry. We are revoking the recess. We are now doing public comments.
And then we'll recess. Rolling on.
So, as we move into, are we good? As we move into the public comments portion of our meeting, I take a quick opportunity to briefly review our board policy, section 2310, titled Public Participation at Board Meetings. The full policy can be found online at the ABSS website. Per policy, individuals who have signed up may speak for up to 3 minutes. The timer will chime after exactly 3 minutes. We do ask that you plan accordingly and respect any additional directions given. Profanity, making threats, or revealing confidential student or personnel information will not be allowed. To our speakers, tonight we have 3. We ask that you address the members of the board with your comments and not the audience. To our board members, please remember we do not respond to speakers except to request clarifications of points made by the presenter. And to members of our audience, we ask that you refrain from clapping, snapping, or vocalizing at any time during public comments. When your name is called, we ask that you make your way to the podium and state your full name before beginning comments. And our first speaker this evening is Al Seagraves.
Good evening. My name is Coach Al Seagraves. Pardon me for gimping around here, but I just had my right hip replaced a week ago. So I'm going to talk about, school discipline tonight. I think just me being here let you know the level of importance that I think school discipline plays in future, in all of our students' future. Anyway, on April 23, 2025, President Donald Trump issued an executive order to reinstate common sense disciplines in our public schools. He declared that a student's success in adulthood starts with how they perform in the classroom, and we should teach our students to discern between right and wrong at a young age. Yet schools have been forced, now these are his words, not mine, okay? Yet schools have been forced to consider equity and inclusion when imposing discipline. Their policies place racial equity over student safety, encourage schools to turn a blind eye to poor or violent behavior in the name of inclusion. Disciplinary decisions should be based, again, these are all his words. Disciplinary decisions should be based solely on a student's behavior and actions. Unfortunately, on many occasions, I've witnessed that ABSS has allowed other factors into influencing disciplinary decisions. These factors include school attendance, graduation rates, and the grade test scores and public school ratings. And I know it's a tough fact for everybody to balance those things. But there's no way on God's green earth that we can ever compromise student safety for those other factors I just mentioned. I'll give you a perfect example, or let me just say too that we continue to lose students in public school because they don't feel safe. Okay, that's simple. I'll give you a perfect example, okay, of how ABSS made a disciplinary decision that was not based solely on student behavior and actions. While I was coaching football at a local ABSS middle school, one of the students shared with me that they had been sexually harassed. Incident number one, three students came up from behind, pulled a youngster's pants down. Incident number two, 2 days later.
Mr. Seagraves.
God, I gotta come back again. Okay.
Information. I said, we've discussed this before. We cannot talk about confidential student information in public
I
session.
haven't named anybody specifically, though. I haven't named any student, principal, schools. That's not permitted?
Confidential student information and confidential personnel information cannot be discussed.
Okay, could I have the rest of my time and I'll just finish up? I mean, I'll stop when you...
I think that
How about
there were
15
10, 15 seconds
I
left.
would, how about
15?
How about 15 seconds?
That's what I said, 15.
15 seconds.
15 fair enough?
Absolutely.
I can't go into the details of it, but let me just say this, that good kids, we're losing some good kids. And it's a shame. The person I'm talking about was recommended by the school principal in his elementary school being on the safety patrol. And because of those other actions that I just mentioned, he was run out of the ABSS public schools. It's just a shame. It's really a shame. And I know, again, I know it's an extremely difficult job to try to balance everything. But never, maybe I'm just going on with the president, we should base disciplinary decisions on students' behavior and actions.
Thank you,
no
Mr.
other
Seagraves.
factors should come into play.
Thank you for being here with us. Thank you. Our next speaker is Deborah Prevette.
May I provide you all with my written statement? Good evening. Sure thing. Fantastic. Good evening. My name is Deborah Prevette. At the April 28th board meeting, I informed you of the concerns I have regarding my daughter being transferred to another school. During a recess, Mr. Engel and Dr. Fleming were kind enough to speak with me, and I left this building feeling hopeful that a swift resolution would follow. I have accepted that I am not able to keep my child at our current school, but I will not tolerate the lack of concern and ineffective action on the part of the officials at ABSS. That Friday, May 2nd, my husband and I met with Ms. Sonsmater and Dr. Davis. I insisted that Principal Fine hold a meeting with the parents of the adapted curriculum class at Garrett because I felt that all families deserved an opportunity to have their questions addressed. Mr. Fine's email invitation on May the 9th was vague and provided no context for the meeting. When we arrived at the school on May 19th, it was no surprise that only one other family was in attendance. Soon, it became apparent that the other family was unaware their child was being transferred to another school. It had been 5 weeks since the April 11th email, yet the school had not ensured everyone was informed about the transition. During the same meeting, Ms. Sonsmater made false statements, the first of which was correcting me when I stated that some of the current students in Garrett's adapted curriculum class had recently been transferred from other schools. She emphatically said this was untrue. I verified afterwards that several students had been moved to Garrett when the programs at E.M. Yoder and South Mebane were closed. This is important because these children will be changing schools for a second time. Secondly, Ms. Sonsmater stated the transition meetings for this class were already taking place and that we should let the grown-ups handle it. Neither I nor my child's teacher, SLP, or OT have been involved in any meetings. My initial concerns remain. I am worried that my child, as well as her differently abled peers, will suffer significant setbacks in their progress, not only academically, but socially and emotionally. This is unacceptable. I feel this concern has been heard, but the only response has been sympathy. I worry about my child's safety. The school system cannot continue to ignore the fact that a teacher in this county has been charged with multiple counts of child abuse against nonverbal students. I refuse to accept that cameras in the classroom are not an option. Measures must be put in place to ensure that this does not happen again. In the last month, I have encountered individuals who wish to deflect blame, misrepresent the facts, and treat my child as though her education matters less than her neurotypical peers. I expect to be treated as an equal partner in my child's education and demand to be involved in any ongoing discussions and decisions. I do want to express my gratitude to Dr. Christy Davis, who has been considerate and cooperative. Her expertise has been reassuring. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Prevette. Our last speaker this evening is Medora Burke-Skoll.
Good evening, school board. Firstly, I would like to say welcome to the board, Dr. Hall. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. So far, I've seen you out in the community in action, and I'm impressed and glad to have you on board. School board, tonight I speak as the vice president of Alamance Burlington Association of Educators to some member concerns that have been raised about a recent proposal to require classified employees to get a CDL and drive buses. And the way I understand it is currently the proposal has not been voted on by the board. It was a part of the what's the part where the one where you like pass things, you like consent agenda last meeting, but was taken off. Thank you. You think I should come to enough of these that I would know that one? But that it is still on the table. I have a lot of members who are very concerned, especially child nutrition members, about being asked to wear two hats or risk losing their jobs, right? And I understand that currently the proposal is for incoming employees, but that it is at the discretion of the superintendent whether to make it retroactive for previously hired employees. I will say that every member that I have talked to has told me that they would quit if they were asked to drive a bus or if it was contingent upon their ability to keep this job. Quote, I would make more down the street at Golden Corral and it would be easier work. I will also tell you that drivers and delivery companies start at $25 an hour. So the fact that ABSS is willing to pay $16 an hour, and those, like that $25 an hour, that was for local, like people who would be home every night. So I think you can look at your own pay rate as a function of why we have unfilled bus driver vacancies. Right now we have 17 vacancies across the district in child nutrition. And so if we are combining child nutrition and bus driving as a required position, everyone I've talked to thinks it's going to be really unlikely that we'll fill those positions. I talked to folks in Randolph and Johnston and Vance counties over the past week, members of NCAE, who've said that they have similar programs and it's very hard to get people to take those positions. They have tons of vacancies and that there's a really high turnover rate in those positions. So I guess I would ask that you maybe consider an alternate way to fill bus driver vacancies. What if you said, if you are willing to both be a TA and a bus driver, we'll make sure that you get $1 an hour raise for both positions? Or what if you are willing to be a child nutrition and a bus driver? We'll bump you up $1 an hour. You would entice people without putting fear into your existing employees, right? We've worked really hard. Oh, I wasn't done yet. But you,
Thank you.
please value the people that you have on your staff.
Thank you for being here. Now I think I'm being instructed to take a 5-minute recess. So we will take a 5-minute recess and be back at 19:07. discussion. At this time, I will turn the floor over to Dr. Fleming for Superintendent Finance and Human Resources.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. I hope everyone is having a wonderful evening. Our first item here is to talk about a cell phone-free school. We have a representative with us here today, Mr. Chris Johnson. I've had an opportunity to see Mr. Johnson, meet him, and to talk to him a few times. He is from Yonder. They are in essence, a pouch that students can put their phone in. I think they have actually sent us one. We didn't get it today, so hopefully in the next day or two we'll have it to show you as a way to secure a student's phone and essentially ensure a cell phone-free campus. Just a little background. North Carolina legislation is moving to restrict cell phone use in public schools during instructional time. House Bill 87 requires school boards to adopt policies to eliminate or severely restrict student access to cell phones during class. A similar Senate bill, that would be Senate Bill 55, also restricts the use of various wireless devices, including cell phones, during instruction. On both of these pieces of legislation, the bill aims to reduce distractions and promote focus during class by restricting cell phone use. School districts will have the authority to create their own policies to implement these restrictions. There will be some exemptions in the legislation if both of those bills are compromised and put out, and it sounds like eventually they will be, maybe in the budget, potentially before. But there are exemptions to the restrictions, such as for educational purposes, emergency situations, or when necessary for a student's education or health care. One that really comes to mind is I know many of our students have, or several of our students have insulin monitors and insulin pumps and all. So those types of situations have exemptions. As I've looked across North Carolina, we and our staff has looked across, there's various methods to this. One is where a teacher at the beginning of the class period or beginning of the school day would collect cell phones, put them in a basket, put the basket somewhere in their desk, and then at the end of the day or end of the period, they would hand the phones back out. There's other ways, such as pouches that students can put, or a shoe rack or a calculator pouch hanging in the classroom. The student can put their phone in there and then pick it up on their way out. The issue with those methods is that the kind of the burden of the liability is on the school district. What happens if a teacher accidentally breaks or cracks the screen of a cell phone? What if a cell phone is stolen? And so that's really brought up some concerns. We were fortunate enough to be introduced to Yonder, which I think has a wonderful example of a way that the student can keep the phone on them throughout the day. It's a padded pouch that they keep in their book bag, and has a locking mechanism, and so that phone cannot be used through the instructional day. And then at the end of the day, as they are walking to the car rider line or walking to the buses, they simply swipe their bag against a special device, and it will unlock the cell phone. As you can imagine, and I will say this before Mr. Johnson shares anything with you, those bags are not free. There is a cost to them. In your board packet, you have a few different documents. One is, I believe that we put an overview of, we put an overview of Yonder. You can see on the front page the students holding the bag, showing that the bag is locked as they're walking into the school building. And I believe there's another picture in here, it might be on that top line, of them getting it unlocked, and I don't know if it's on here now. We'll make sure we show it to you. Having that bag unlocked, it's just a little, basically a swipe as you walk out the building or out of the classroom, and so very easy. These bags are good for roughly 4 or 5 years, and you may have found a Yonder video. The bags are machine washable, and I know, Chris, you may be able to get more into the machine washable. They are good for roughly 4 or 5 years. The quotes that are provided in your board packet are for an implementation of grades 4 through 12, and then you have another one that would be 6 through 12 and another one that would be 9 through 12, depending on the cost and how we would want to implement this. I will share, I've learned a lot of different best practices on this. We do have school districts in our state that have done full implementations, and we've done some that have piloted. Say one high school, one middle school, one elementary. I will tell you, when you do that, the kids and parents do not like that they either are the ones selected or they're not the ones selected. So I don't know that that type of a pilot is good, but certainly we could start at high school and then eventually roll down, or we could do what is usually suggested, kind of a grade 4 through 12. If you do the whole district, you could go younger than that, but I know we haven't seen as many problems there. So why am I bringing this up now? One, and there is a video on here. Yes, we did post a video, so you can see that. One, we need to make some decisions quickly if this is something we want to implement for the upcoming school year, either with or without legislation. I personally believe it will become legislation sooner than later, certainly within the year and maybe within this legislative session. So it would be optional at this point. The other reason is we want to give time to get some parent feedback. The way we would frame this to parents is, if this becomes law, we have to do something. Would you like your teacher to hold that phone every day, and we charge maybe an insurance policy to the parents if their child brings a phone to school? Would we put up these calculator pouches or these shoe pouches on the side of the classroom door or on a board or something along those lines, and students drop their phone in there and it sits there during the class period or during the day? Or do we go to something that is much more secure? So we're going to provide some options out there to our public, but before Madam Chair, we take any questions, because I'm sure there are some. I would like Mr. Johnson to just chime in if there's something I am missing.
Absolutely. First off, I'd like to say thank you for having me this evening. My name is Chris Johnson. I am the account executive for the great state of North Carolina, as well as Virginia and South Carolina. I'm blessed to have my esteemed colleague. I'll let her introduce herself. Bethany, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you for having us tonight. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. I support the entire East region, and so I'm just happy to have the time with you all.
Right. So the main thing I would like to just add, Dr. Fleming has mentioned, a phone-free education, and that's what we pride ourselves on being, rather than so many institutions will call the phone ban. We know we have, the House bill and the Senate bill that the state is proposing, and they talk about phone bans versus phone-free education. And the difference between a phone ban is you're trying to take something away. And we never want to say we're taking something away from the kids. We're actually giving them something. We're giving them the chance to have a distraction-free education. We're giving your teachers the chance to say, you know what, I have I have an engaged classroom, no distractions. I don't have to be the phone police. As Dr. Fleming attested, a lot of times when you have the other provisions where you're saying, hey, we're collecting the phones at the start of the day, the onus all falls back on the teachers. A lot of times the teachers then have stressors because one teacher might be stricter than the other. There's pushback. There's a lot of issues. As we can all attest, a kid might say, hey, my phone was perfectly fine this morning and I gave it to you guys. It's broken. Now we have an issue conflict within the building, with whether it's the parents, the students, or whatever it may be. And then we have to figure out who's responsible for paying that. So Dr. Fleming, I do apologize. I will talk to FedEx because it said your package was going to be delivered by 10:30 today, and you stated that it did not get there, so I will figure that out. But if everyone can see, this is what Dr. Fleming is talking about. We have a XL pouch with a locking mechanism. What can happen is every kid comes in the morning. I just, if this is okay, Dr. Fleming, I'll just give them a quick rundown so you don't have it to show. Yeah. So what happens is every kid would come in and they would place their phone, either turn it off or place it on airplane mode. The beautiful thing about airplane mode is parents will say, one of the issues that parents will push back and say, how do I know where my kids are? With the phone in airplane mode, they'll still be able to track their child. You can see exactly where they are. We simply push this button, and this is now locked away for the day. The kids can put it in their pocket. They can put it in their back pocket. Backpack, their backpack. And your teachers do not have to worry about any issues about phones for the remainder of the day. You will notice right here, every single pouch comes with this ID badge because we are a tier 1 solution. We recommend that every student is assigned their own individual pouch. The reason behind that is, and we've been doing this for 11 years, we did it a bunch of different ways. When you do not assign this to one individual kid, there is not any onus or responsibility for maintaining this possession. As Dr. Fleming said, there is a cost associated with this. So you want your kids to actually have to treat this just like you were issuing a Chromebook, a textbook. You can do a numbering system. You can put in the name badge, whatever it may be. That way you can always track and figure out where, who's being compliant, who's not. The beautiful thing about that is at the end of the day, we have these magnetic locking stations that actually mount to the wall. In that pack that should have been there, we also have handheld ones for your administrators to walk and move through the building, and also lock boxes, which can be mounted to the wall and locked with a padlock. You can some people put them on carts if they want to be mobile with them. But what's beautiful about this is that this actually mounts to the wall, and this magnet can unscrew. So at the end of the day, so during the day, you actually can unscrew this, and it's just stayed on the wall, so the kids can't come unlock it at any point. 5 to 10 minutes before the end of the day, whoever's on call, CSOs, janitors, they can come by, they simply screw it back on, and it's there. And the kids can walk by, and it's very simple. Like he said, they simply just push it right here, tap the button, and it's unlocked, and they go on about their day. The beautiful, even more beautiful thing is it's just not a pouch. We'll actually help plan where those locking stations go. So what people will say, hey, some people have pouches that are just, they put them in the pouch, they say their way. Our pouch, we're the only ones who can have the magnetic locking station where it's locked, it's put away, they can't unlock it throughout the day. But also we give you the implementation to go along with it. So prior to you ever giving a kid a pouch, our implementation team will meet with your district to figure out what the goals are of your district. What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to? We help write policy. We help write that policy that you communicate that with your stakeholders. So like Dr. Fleming is talking about, if you choose to go with us prior to that initial rollout at the beginning of the school year, all summer, we'll help with the literature that goes out to the families. If you have parent nights, a lot of our districts in North Carolina have parent sessions throughout the summer. We can be there. You get a partner success manager that's for the entire district. Each individual school actually will have a partner success partner as well. So that individual school can have their goals and figure out how they want to work in with that implementation. We'll go through every single building, looking at the layout of the building and help you figure out what's the best place to put those locking stations, to make sure that you have coverage, to have the policy set up. We help train the teachers as well. So we never want to say, hey, here's a pouch, go forth and prosper. No, this is a full systematic shift in a change in culture. So we want to make sure that we're here to support you. Another thing that I didn't mention, I know Dr. Fleming was talking about the health and the exemptions. We actually have a Velcro pouch. This is near and dear to my heart because I'm actually a diabetic. My family is a diabetic family. So any kids that actually have to have medical needs to have a pouch, that access to their phone, they have this pouch. And the awesome thing is, unless you're looking at it and you just grab someone's pouch, you can't really tell on a quick glance that it's two different. So kids don't have to worry about if they have a special condition, if they'll be identified differently by having a different pouch. Their pouch is off and away. They still have access to the phone. So that's my quick overview. Hope my elevated speech about the program. Like I said, we always like to say more than a pouch. We want to say it's a phone-free. We're giving them a phone-free environment, a distraction-free, so the kids can go back. They're engaged. They're collaborating. We found that clubs and activities are more readily attended and participated in because the kids aren't just going into the phone. Lunches, we've seen that the budget for food, where they had to order more food because kids are actively eating at lunch again. So it is a systematic shift where we're giving them a distraction-free, phone-free environment to just for 6 to 7 hours be kids again. To be locked in with one another. For your teachers, like one of my quotes, Dr. Fleming, and I know Dennis heard this when I came down. One of my most prideful quotes from one of your neighboring districts is just that they say, for the first time in years, I saw the whites in my kids' eyes. I forgot what it looked like to see the whites of our kids' eyes. So, like I said, we want to give the kids a chance to go back and have a distraction free, no worrying about cyberbullying and, saying and all those things, but also your teachers just say, we talk about teacher retention, the ability for your teachers to just come back and say, you know what, I'm just teaching. I don't have to be the phone police. I don't have to monitor the drama that happens with phones and things of that nature. I just come and I do what I was paid to do, which is teach. I'll stop there and throw it back to you, Dr. Fleming, but I'm here, me and Bethany are here to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Thank you, Chris and Bethany. Appreciate that. One thing I failed to mention is Chris did come down a couple weeks ago and met with our principals, showed them, demoed the product. Again, I didn't take a survey of the principals, but from the nods on the head, I think it's close, if not unanimous, that they would be in support of this. Again, it's just a conversation on where we can fall. I know we're going to talk about the budget in a little bit, but it also just kind of falls on what we can afford or potentially what we can find funding for. I do want to give a shout out to Senator Gailey, Senator Amy Gailey, who we had some initial conversations on this. I'd obviously love to get some state money for this if she's watching. But would like to have that conversation. But, again, it's probably, it may come down to the fact that we have to figure out how to do this. I think the time has come again. It's not the law today, but I think it will be the law sometime soon tomorrow and down the road. And so I want us to have just a brief conversation. Typically, this would have been a conversation for a work session, but I do believe time is of the essence if we want to start this in the fall. If we don't, then it's not. But happy to answer any questions. I know Chris and Bethany happy to answer any as well.
Questions from board members? Yes, Ms. Harvey.
So if a student, let's say, leaves this pouch in the classroom, another student could take that pouch and at the end of the day could potentially open that pouch and take that student's phone, correct?
Yes. But so that is just something that we always, that's a question that great question. It also goes back to what we talk about with the policy and procedures. We help craft that, and that traditionally does not happen just because it's it's like an honor violation. It's like damaging a text, stealing a textbook, stealing a Chromebook, whatever. We help write that out so that if that incident actually does occur, that is a violation, and that's something that we'll help partner with you guys and write that out. That's something that obviously with folks having them actually labeled, it's hard for that, and with it being on their person and being in their backpack. So like when in that morning, like you'll see with us helping craft it, the procedures, they come in, they put it in there, they lock it up, and it goes in that backpack, and it's in that backpack for them for that entire day. If for some reason it does come out and it's just not typical because folks are, especially with kids, teenagers and above, they know that is their phone. Obviously mistakes do happen, but it's not something that we have seen that is traditional because folks are very adamant about being protective with their phone. And like I said, if it does happen, we do have that policy and procedure where it's notated about if, they're caught and that's happening, this happens, then this happens, and then this happens. Just as if someone was to snatch a kid's, Chromebook or Mac. I don't know what you guys use as far as your equipment, but if a kid was to snatch someone's, Chromebook, what would happen then? It would be the same policy and procedure as well. So, and we have some other training just to make sure to help, identifying those situations as well.
So at the end of the day, students, whether the custodians or whoever go back and they put the magnetic mechanism back up, and at the end of the day, students are able to take their bag and have it unlocked. When you look at time, when we're at the end of the day and you have, let's say, a 1,500 student school, okay? So all of these students have to unlock their bag to get their phone out, to get home, but the transportation could be the bus, Right. Everyone doesn't ride to school in a car. What does that look like? Are kids missing the bus because they're trying to get their phones unlocked?
So no, just being frank, no. Actually, a lot of times the process actually speeds up because are so ready to get back to their phone. But like I said, with that planning, we actually go through all your building entrances and exits to make sure that there is no bottleneck. We understand that congestion can lead to conflict. I'm a former educator, so I know when so when kids are too, get bottlenecked and it's too, too congested, that can lead to conflict. We help set up those exit points. How many, how many bases would be, how many, bases would be in this section, and and make sure you have coverage and things of that nature. I don't know if you're well aware, but we also do entertainment. So we do this at Madison Square Garden with 25,000 semi-inebriated people leaving a concert. It's not an issue. So we try to make sure, like I said, part of that setup in that implementation is making sure that is not a problem. Or, so we talk to your, your leadership team, each individual building about where the buses are, where the car riders are, making sure that there is not an issue with either one with them and their departure. So there's not any additional stress on the normal logistics of the day to day.
So in the event that a student forgets to unlock their cell phone bag, is there a mechanism outside of the school, or will they always be inside of the school?
They're always inside of it. So I will say I had a super rural area where the county was very vast, and they actually put one at their central office, a lockbox, and it was so off the beat that, if you were willing to drive out there, they were willing to let it keep. But there's traditionally, if someone just locks it and they leave it, they'll either try to drive back and you say, hey, look, this is the policy, we'll be in the office traditionally, just like how your secretaries and admin might be there to 4:30. I don't know what time your dismissal is for the day, 3:30, 4:30. After that, it's just a matter of, you get it unlocked if you get there early enough and unlock and charge it and then lock it back to start the day. But again, that is something that we can craft within the policy, but that's traditionally how it works. Most folks do not forget to unlock it, even if they had a situation where they had early dismissal or something of that nature where you think that might be somewhere where they forget. We normally have like a handheld or one of the portable stations by the attendance secretary, and they can unlock there as well. So we try to make sure that it is in those stations where they're normally departing. So it wouldn't be something that they would forget. You know what I mean? They're going to see it right there. It would almost be similar to a conscious choice to not unlock it, because the formula is going to be this is where we go out, this is where I exit, and there's going to be bases, and they're going to see them there on their exit.
Okay. Ms. Harvey's going to ask one more question, and then we'll go to other board members.
So once the student enters the school and they place their phone inside of the bag, and if something happens to that phone after it's placed inside of the bag, who is responsible for that phone?
It's them, and that's I said that's part of the policy, and you're in communication with the parents. This takes the onus off the district. This, once they put it in, they are responsible. It's just like, just like their textbooks, their Chromebook. This is there, so they have it. They put it in there. They put it in their bag. It's their responsibility. We have a pretty tough neoprene, like I said, padded. It has these nice little, it's nice and thick. So the damage, if it was damaged, that is something that it was on their possession, is not, not the school's responsibility. And like I said, that would be all communicated in the literature that goes out to the parents prior to them ever getting issued their pouch and starting the school year. You make sure that they know what the, who's responsible if there's any damage. What does the first offense look like? What is the second offense? What is the third offense? Those things will all be communicated prior to anything being started and actually actively handed out. So the goal is to take the onus off of the district and just let you guys focus on teaching. The kids now have that phone in their possession. Parent can no longer say, Mr. Johnson took the phone and it came back cracked. They are the ones who put the phone in the pouch, so they know what it looks like and it's on their person 24/7. Well,
and if you have other questions, Ms. Harvey, we'll come back to you. Any other questions from board members? Mr. Wagner?
As a former parent of 2 ABSS students who could literally tear a tank up, what is the average lifespan of these pouches? Under normal conditions.
We say 4 years. So basically, typically, when we see that, a freshman with proper care should get through the entire, high school career. If a senior got it, they would go through next year. You can actually recycle it and give those to the rising ninth graders as you go. Obviously, we always we put in a buffer amount on the initial order that you probably see on the quote. We always say prepare for it just like you would with any textbook or Chromebook. For about 10%, just where kids lose them, destroy them, malfunction, or just population increase that happens year to year that you might have to compensate for. But that is typically what we say. 4 years, you should get through high school at least 3 to 4 years with the pouch. They're pretty heavy duty. The pen is pretty strong, and so it is a pretty sturdy pouch. Long as you're not trying to willfully inflict damage, it's a pretty sturdy pouch.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Dr. Parker?
This is, I guess, more for Dr. Fleming. I have to say, personally, I have a very high gadget coefficient. And so usually I think, well, can I buy something that, fixes a problem? The pouches, I guess, what is the root thing that we're trying to fix? So if I'm a teacher and I'm naive about this, I know how 8th graders behave from, and older as far as, so if I'm a teacher and go into a classroom and say, put your phones away, and it doesn't happen, or I guess the kind of, what are we really trying to solve as far as this?
The number one thing you're trying to solve is an instructional day that's it's not interrupted through cell phone technology or a smartwatch. The other thing is dealing primarily with behavioral issues, videos, texting, inappropriate videos and texting. Anything you can think of, posting online, anything you can think of that happens during the school day. What this does is it ensures that phone, one, is in a safe and secure location, but also that it cannot be accessed by the students. So when they walk in school, they either show that it's locked, or they may not show it at all, knowing it is locked. And if that cell phone is seen at any point during the day, those penalties, the consequences are much higher than really what we're even seeing today.
Could we, so as kind of as the non-technology solution for this, could you tell students, we expect to have your phone powered off during the day, and then take it if you see it powered on? I guess, how is that different than what we're doing here?
Because so many parents want to try, and Chris can answer too, but the way I see it is so many parents want the opportunity to be able, you have Life 360 and some of these others, a way for that phone to stay on, but still not interrupt during the day. So the parent can still track the student. They can, know where they're at, know they're at safe, know that their school's safe. But again, not having the opportunity for the student to use the pouch. But Chris, I think you want to answer that as well.
Yeah. So what we found is just the fact that the phone, you say, hey, power it off and you put it away, but it's just like us. If we're in a meeting and we sitting there, we say we're gonna just check one email. And then what happens? We've all been at a conference, we've all been somewhere, we're going to check one email, and we look, it's 15 minutes later. The threat and just the thrill, the pouch takes away that the onus of putting it on the kids. So we always say they're children, and they're doing, and when we say off and away so many times, it's still that thought of, hey, I have this phone, can I get back to it? And when it's on this pouch, they know that when they come in for these hours, it's just set. There's no thought about what's going on. The biggest thing is that there's no thought about that because they know their friends' phones are away as well, right? So many times the kids will try to, buck the system simply because they feel like they're the only one missing out. When we have this pouch and we see that we don't have that added stressor of, hey, these kids are trying, and they always say, or a teacher is saying, how many times, I'm a former RTI intervention specialist. How many times did the first 5 minutes of class go to saying, all right, let's put our phones away, let's get focused? The last 5 minutes, kids are thinking about his lunch. My parents are texting me about bringing me lunch, or trying to figure out setting up. I left my cleats, things of that nature. You're losing 10 minutes of class simply by the simple fact that, these kids have these phones. I dwelled in that world where if I could sit there, it's 5 classes a week, if I can gain 50 minutes of intervention with those kids, that's how I got paid. We can effectively give that time back and that engagement back simply by saying, hey, this is an environment where that's not even an issue. So that is something that, I know that a lot of folks say, hey, sometimes we can just try to say, hey, we want to trust the kids to say off and away or put it away. It just doesn't work, because then you have the ability to say, hey, not every building is the same with their enforcement. Not every class is the same with their enforcement. So you end up having the same issues that generally happen. Like Dr. Fleming was attesting, you can't have the fight clubs because the phones are put away. You know what I'm saying? When we say it's off and away, they can come pull them out and meet me in the bathroom. Or a fight pops out, yeah, it's supposed to be off and away. The kids pull them out. Now they're recording the fight. The fight's on CNN or YouTube and all those things. When these phones are now fully locked away on their person, they cannot do anything to those. You see those numbers go down. You see those cyberbullying, the hoax, bomb threats, things of that nature go away because they don't have access to the phone. As much as we want to trust in the ability of the kids to say, hey, they can rise above and truly listen to us and say, hey, look, off and away, it just doesn't happen to the level of success, you know what I mean, that you would wish to have at the district level. Sorry for that long answer, but.
No, that's fine. I guess, one other question there, the difficulty of dealing with, technology issues like this. I'll give an example. It's a pretty common thing for a student to create a Google Doc, share it with someone else, and then you can communicate back and forth. There are a lot of things that are not, the solution from this. And I guess my question is the root, like you said, is it's behavior or discipline in the class, and then the opportunity to have the phone, as far as the misbehaving in pictures and text, I understand that is definitely fixed. And I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think through. Maybe there's a case study or something that I can look at. But it seems like throwing technology at something, I'm mildly skeptical. And if the principals are interested, and maybe we can hear from some teachers at a meeting or something as far as what they think would be helpful.
And I will share, and Dennis may be able to add to that as well, where they're sharing the Google Docs and all that. Well, that's not ideal either. We can track all of that. All of that is archived. So if you say something mean about me or threaten me or whatever, that can be tracked. That's if there's a good thing to it, and that's the way they have to communicate that way. At least we're able to see it all, because they can't get on a personal Gmail account online or whatever it may be.
Got it. And I have one last thing, which is if we did some kind of phased rollout or something like that, what grade or middle school, high school, is it the biggest problem? Would it be? And I guess if we, for budget reasons, we don't do it everywhere all at once.
Yeah, right now I think it's high school, then middle school, and then your upper elementary.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Other questions, Mr. Rogers?
Yep. So, somewhat piggybacking off of what Dr. Parker was stating, as far as the understanding the difficulties around, I guess, the self-regulation piece of it, and also that one building, one classroom might not be the same as far as how they, I guess, structure their classroom and how they make sure the cell phones are up, or you might get a certain period of the cell phone. So I think, similar to what he said, hearing from teachers would be good. I think hearing from the parents would be good. Also, I think we do have to get in a place with our students on understanding our self-regulation piece, because these are folks that's going to go out into the world one day and they have to self-regulate on certain things too. But the biggest thing that I guess I want to ask about is an emergency situation. God forbid, we've done had scares and hoaxes and pranks and everything like that. And I know Mr. Johnson showed the Velcro piece around where some students with more of the medical issues. But what I'm talking about is an actual school safety situation that's happening in the school. And then parents, because I see it every time when there is something, you see parents on Facebook, on social medias and everything, and their first thing is, I'm going over there to that school. I done seen this and all of that. I can't get in touch with my child. So how then is that kind of situation? Because I know some parents communicate up with their kids in those situations. I mean, I can speak specifically for myself. When Williams had their things last year, my nephew ended up sending me a message and was like, we're on lockdown. And I just told him, follow all the instructions that your teacher is giving you, and we'll just keep updated by what the school system is giving us or whatever. But I know some other parents might not be as calm in that situation, and I can understand it. It is your child. So how is those type of situations handled if that is put into place?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So we work with so many school safety folks, and what you'll see is that they actually love the fact that with the phones being locked away, that they're controlling the messaging that's going to parents. So many times, just like we talk about with the hoax and other things, so much misinformation goes out because the children just hear something and they go out. And what happens is, like you said, those parents fly over to the school. They're tying up the lines by calling. They're calling 911, and it actually hinders what's going on if there's a true emergency situation. So what we found, and we work with a lot of these folks, and I can actually put some of our contacts, if you would like to talk to some of our contacts about it, and what the studies have shown, all of those responses have been handled much better because the district has been the one that has been able to get the information out in a timely fashion. And so a lot of times it's not, that issue is not even what a kid might think it is. You're controlling the narrative. You're controlling what is going out to your parents and making sure that information is coming out truthfully in real time. If anything was to happen where you guys actually had to leave the school building, what we actually do is those handheld devices, like I was talking about, the ones that don't mount to the wall, they actually are, a lot of my districts actually put those in the go bags. So when they get to a safe location, they can unlock those phones, and the kids can then call their parents and let them know they're safe. Everything is good. Everything is fine. Even more so, if you don't want to have an extra handheld, if you have a pair of safety shears, they can be cut out as well. So these things, like I said, we're 11 years in. We've seen these situations happen. We well versed with a lot of these things, and like I said, that our implementation team will actually help coach through that. In that literature, as before it goes out, we'll let you, so we'll have that written out to say, hey, look, in case of emergency, this is what the procedure will be. And that alleviates a lot of the concern for parents, because they know you actually have a plan in place. You're not just winging it when it happens. So we'll actually communicate that prior to this, like I said, prior to this ever going out, in those parent sessions, in those letters that's going out to your community, to let them know how that situation would be handled.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. We'll come back if you have another one. Do anybody else have any questions? All right, hearing none. All right, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Fleming for any closing statements.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you again, Chris, for that information. We plan on working on a survey in the next week or two to get out to staff, parents, our community on this. Again, I want to make it clear, it's not if we're going to do something or not. It's if we do something, or if the legislation is put in place, which options of the available options would you prefer? Going back on the school safety thing, I also often think about, have gone to so many safety meetings that, there are perpetrators in the schools that look and want to hear cell phones, because then they know there are students in the classroom to injure. And so that has really been talked about, and actually has, I believe, maybe in one of the situations that took place. And so that's one thing. The other idea too is in controlling the narrative. Students, we want to trust them, but unfortunately we'll text rumors or text something that's not true, that then gets the parent worried. And the other thing I was really thinking the most about was the fact that they're texting instead of listening to their instructor or teacher, the school resource officer, the other law enforcement members in the building, and they're focused on just texting, and so that gets in the way as well. So again, yeah, during most school emergency situations, you know, not trying to communicate is usually the best way. And you're not jamming the cell phone towers and everything else. So, all that to say, we will have to, I believe we'll have to go one route, and it's just a matter of what we do. But we will get a survey out there and get some information back to you.
I'll just add real quick in closing, to echo Dr. Fleming, Senator Galey brought this to our attention last November and asked that we visit with Yonder at the School Boards Association annual conference. And I can't remember who was there with me. Were you? Might have been Donna. I can't remember who was there with me, but we did go to the Yonder session. And Chatham County, I think, was one of the pilot districts, and their superintendent and a couple of their teachers and administrators actually kind of were on a panel. And it was interesting to hear how they had implemented it and how well it worked in their district. And they were very pleased with. So just wanted to share that. I know that this is early conversation, but thank you, Mr. Johnson, for being here. Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Dr. Fleming. And board members will continue this conversation at another meeting. I believe you're up again for budget conversation.
Thank you. I hope I am able to keep this button pressed through this next fairly lengthy topic. As we have put out there and as everyone has heard, we did receive word from the county manager through her report with the county commissioners. Her recommended budget for all of Alamance County government, including education, which would be ABSS. Looking at the numbers, we are roughly 11.3 or more short in our current expense. The county manager is recommending shifting $10 million of that to of our current expense to capital, which would put our capital $2 or $3 million short on our capital outlay. Also, moving $1.3 million to the sheriff to pay the SROs. That money then would not flow county to ABSS and then back to the county. So on paper, bookkeeping wise, record keeping wise, that would be easier. The issue is that would, because it doesn't flow through our books and is calculated by DPI, it would, one, reduce our per pupil expenditure. And the $10 million would reduce our per pupil expenditure in the neighborhood of about $500 per student. Not only is this terrible for ABSS, but also, as you know, our charter schools receive the per pupil expenditure that we receive, and so they would be reduced by roughly $500. We don't know the exact number. We won't know that until the end of the school year, but we believe it's probably somewhere in that neighborhood. Outside of the $11 million, $11.3 million cut from current expense funding, we would be at risk, and we do believe, by kind of doing the math very quickly, that we would risk all of our, or a significant portion of our low wealth money from the state. The low wealth formula is calculated off of the per pupil expenditure, the average tax rate. And we really, in Alamance County, do not check any of the boxes to keep our low wealth. Our tax rate is significantly below the state average, which is one of the, if you're at least at the state average, you can keep your low wealth funding. Or if the county increases, significantly increases your per pupil expenditure, that would also be another way to keep your low wealth money. We are not doing either one of those. In fact, we believe with the reduction of over approximately $500 per student, we would be in the bottom 10 school districts in North Carolina with local per pupil spending. And right now we're not good now. In fact, we're kind of 86-ish. And we've been as high as 50. So we've kind of been in the middle of the pack over the last 5 years or so. But we would be, this past year we were somewhere in the neighborhood of 86. We would believe we would be probably around 95 to 100 in in the upcoming year. We don't know of another county that received, a poor county or not, any county that received anything near this type of reduction. So that is concerning. I do believe the board will need to take action. We're currently reviewing our reduction in force policies because this would have significant impact on staffing. And we've already notified the municipalities of potential elimination of school resource officer positions within our schools that are served by municipal police forces. With the recommended budget from the county manager, it would not affect the county schools, being as in non-municipal schools, because they would be served by a deputy sheriff, and so they would then be paid for by the county. I am just looking back over the notes, see if there's anything in particular I have missed. I will tell you also that we have recorded a video that we hope to have released within 24 hours of now, sharing with our public our concern and the opportunities for them to give public input. I've had conversations with or a conversation with a county manager, with a county commissioner. I do have a meeting set up this week with the county manager. If there's anything that's fortunate out of this, is I just don't think they understood this type of an impact. To me, $10 million is a lot, but I don't think they realize the impact that this could be really about a $20 million cut when you take out our low wealth funding. Again, just it would be drastic cuts. I also believe there are ways for the county to remedy this. Again, I'm not the county manager, but when you look at a total fund balance, both restricted and unrestricted dollars, the county is very close to a 50% fund balance. I believe the $10 million could very easily come out of that this year to at least get us to where we're at on the capital side. And then, we do need to have a discussion about the $5.7 million. Is there somewhere the school district and the county could live? As I like to say, it'd be closer to $5 million than 0.7, but we certainly could have that conversation. But I think the time is now for our board to potentially talk about some very unfortunate circumstances. And again, I do believe there is an opportunity for our public to have their voices heard on June 2nd at 6 p.m. in the historic courthouse in Graham. But again, I do feel a little better after talking to that one county commissioner that they realize this is a big deal, and maybe didn't realize that in the beginning. I won't get into the tax conversation, but the types of counties that are not having these types of conversations are low wealth counties that have an average effective tax rate, statewide average effective tax rate. Again, I won't get too far into that, but we also have an opportunity for the quarter-cent sales tax, potentially another bond as well to help us on the capital side. So happy to answer any questions. And I appreciate you're reading all of the emails that I've sent over the past week, and we are a little anxious and we are losing a little sleep over this. So I did have someone ask me if I took all this personally, and at first I didn't, but then I remembered over the last 9 months having conversations with all of our county commissioners, and they say really nice things about me, which I appreciate. I like the compliments, but then you get handed this type of a budget, and you realize, wow, what was any different over the last few years? And I think that's probably where I take it personal is, if we had issues in the past, we're going to keep on having them no matter who the superintendent is. And I think that's a little disheartening because I hope I've been able to move some things forward, but unfortunately with a $10 million cut, you can't move a whole lot forward. So I have rambled a bit, but I am happy to answer and give an opinion or two, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, and thank you for allowing me to share that.
All right, board members, this is your opportunity for questions, and we'll start with Vice Chair, Mr. Engel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Did you receive any explanation on why they moved the SRO money from from ABSS to the sheriff's office?
I have not had that conversation with the county manager yet. I do believe the reason is simply for the paperwork, because it makes makes more sense for the county to go ahead and pay those employees, to reduce our budget by that amount, to pay those deputies directly from the county where they're already paid. I get that. The problem is we have to have that, I hate to use the word red tape, but that red tape is there so that the county, not ABSS, but so the county gets credit for that expense, that funding locally. That helps the county. So I don't think that was realized. I think that can probably be easily rectified. The other issue with that is more money was transferred than what we paid deputies. So last year we paid deputies about 1.05, I believe that's right, and 1.3 was moved. So there's about $250,000 there that I'm not sure why that was moved. And I hate to use the word of somebody's money, but that's the municipality's portion of the SROs, or comes out of that portion, not all of it, but comes out of that portion. And so that's why we had to share the news with the towns and the cities that, this may hurt us and their ability to serve the schools within municipalities. And I haven't come up with a fair way yet to cut that money. Burlington clearly has the most number. And then you have smaller, like Elon is one. So where do you take it off the top percentage wise, or do you just reduce one town and not the other? That's the issue. So I think that part probably can get fixed. But 1.3 of 11.7 plus the 5.7 more, we're still a ways away from that.
Thank you, Dr. Fleming. Have we? And this is for you or Tony, whichever one would like to answer. In terms of per pupil amounts, how does this affect that number?
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. To answer your question, Mr. Engel, is that, of course, it reduces our per pupil expenditure. And I think Dr. Fleming mentioned that this could potentially bring us down to really the bottom 10 districts in the state of North Carolina as far as our per pupil expenditure, somewhere around 104 to 107. It all depends on if other districts that are already below that increase their per pupil amount on that. And we won't know that until sometime probably in the fall.
Thank you, Tony.
Absolutely, Mr. Engel.
Right. This 10 million, which I think is 11 million now, is that money coming out of our budget and just staying in our budget? Is that where the shortfall?
It's moving from operating to capital. So, and I know we got the budget request document up there. I believe our capital request was 14 million. They funded 11.7 of it, and 10 million of that 11.7. So we're already underfunded there, but 10 million of the 11.7 was simply transferred from our current expense to our capital. The concern is, and again, the conversation I had with the one commissioner was, we still get the money. The problem is we cannot legally spend capital funds on current expenses. So we must keep that money separate. So if the commissioners say, this is capital, we cannot use it for anything else other than capital needs. We can't pay people, we can't pay teacher supplements, we can't pay this classified supplement we've had conversations about. We can't pay any overhead, custodians, no operations at all can be paid out of capital.
And I think that's one of the things that the people need to know out here. In other words, you've got a line item right here. They take 10 or 11 million out of it, move it down here to capital. Well, it can only be used down here for capital instead of out in here, this line item. So in essence, we haven't received any further funding or any more funding from in our budget. That's what it means. Tell me.
No, and I think what the commissioner did not understand is the fact that that 10 million was moved. Well, one, the 10 million was cut in capital, and then the 10 million was moved. So we lose 10 million either way, in current expense or capital. But the 10 million was transferred to capital, as in, well, we're still covering capital needs, which is somewhat correct. But you cut the current expense by 10 million. That money, we can't transfer a little capital to current expense or some current expense to capital.
One additional thing I want to mention that Dr. Fleming has in is that some of our federal grants are almost like matching grants, and if we don't have the local funding to match those dollar for dollar, we could lose additional federal dollars, especially EC federal monies. And whenever you start losing federal dollars, you also lose the ability to charge indirect costs, which help with funding operations. So it is extremely compounding, one right after the other, whenever you have a reduction of that kind, that amount.
And Mr. Messer made a good point. So as a school district, we have an obligation of maintenance of effort. We have to pay a certain amount of local dollars or match a certain amount of local dollars to federal funds. That is very similar to the way that state low wealth works. The local county government has an obligation to fund schools at a certain level. And for poorer counties, which Alamance County is still considered one of today anyway, has to meet a certain threshold in order for the state to give us low wealth dollars. Now, then you have, say, Mecklenburg County, for example. They don't receive low wealth. They're not measured against that. But for counties that are truly low wealth counties, again, which we are, and we're at the top of eventually losing that status, we have to meet certain obligations there, or the commissioners, county government has certain funding obligations to meet in order for us to keep that state money to supplement a low wealth county.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Other questions or comments from board members? Mr. Rogers?
All right, so my first question just starting on the capital piece, because I know looking at the recommendation from the county manager, we were requesting 14.7. They were off of the recommendation they would fund 11.7 is a $3 million difference. And so within that difference, that would mean like some of the projects that we would be doing possibly on like roofs or safety things would not be funded or would not be something that we could do in
That's
that
correct.
next year.
It would be no safety and would be short a roof-ish, I believe, is where that $3 million comes from, is a roof and or maybe even half a roof, and all of the safety requests, cameras, door locks, the safety vestibules in the schools, and the RFID door badge tags.
Okay, and so with that capital improvement plan that Mr. Hook and his group worked on and everything, and that working with Mr. Messner on, that was based off of the study that was funded by the county, correct? Like as far as those projects from the roof and the HVACs and everything. So it was not a thing that was based on priorities from the school system. That came from that study.
That's correct. There are several priorities that are not even that we didn't even request: asphalt, curb and gutter, grounds, plumbing, electrical, brick and mortar. Athletic fields, athletic field lights. I mean, there are so many things that are not in that first year of the CIP that we all believe they should be. Mm-hmm. But we knew the county has a limit to what they can spend. And it would not been wise of us to put those in there, so we didn't. So we truly asked for what we needed in year one.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to just make sure, because I know talking with Mr. Hook and Mr. Messner about that piece, that we really had based off of that study and was following that guideline from what the county wanted us to do as far as our CIP plan. Now, talking about the shortfall piece of the, I guess it's 11.3, and then of course we got the other part with the low wealth funding and all of that. So we lose that 10 million from the current expenses. So, and our request was 5.7 million. and part of our request is state mandated things, correct? Like the charter school stuff, employee benefit pieces of it.
That's correct.
And what else, Mr. Messner?
It is the employee benefit increases that is passed per the state budget, and dealing with the increases in insurance and overhead things that we've have neglected to ask for in the past.
Okay, and so then if we ended up with where it's standing at right now, our certified employee supplement would not be something that we would be able to do.
The increase, that's correct. It would be status quo unless, there was something that was decided by the board, as we went through the budgeting process.
And then we could possibly lose out on trying to do the classified employee supplement because of that shortfall. And so I just wanted to state that because those were two things as a board that we really push for to support our employees, because of the fact that we know what our employees are doing every day, the importance of the jobs that they're doing, from our certified staff to our classified staff, and the importance of showing them that we're trying our best to support them. So I know that was a question that was asked to me from some of our certified and classified staff, because when they saw it themselves, they were like, what's going to happen with that? And I told them, I truly don't know if it could be a covered thing. We want it covered. That's why we got that 5.7 expansion request out there. And then the last question, I guess, is the SRO piece of it. So I understand the books and how that would possibly be it sounds a little bit cleaner, but then the possibility of the loss of the SROs, SRO funding to our municipalities, to even get that back, would that mean like some of the municipalities would have to step in and possibly help fund that?
That's correct. They would have to either make a decision if they wanted to fund it through, their city councils wanted to fund it, city manager, through their available funds, or no longer serve those schools with an SRO, either through attrition. That SRO would go into a police position, or they would have to RIF the position if they didn't fund it themselves.
All right, thank you. And I guess just a last statement off of this. I feel like our request that we put out as a school system was a logical, responsible request. The work that you've done, Mr. Messner and the finance team, the cabinet, what y'all prioritized based off of what we gave y'all as far as information, y'all brought that back to us as a budget. So thank you for that. And then what we have done now with our financial dashboard, which is one of the best transparent dashboards that you can see in the state as far as a school system. That's another thing that was put out as a needed piece. What people wanted to see is the transparency of what the school system is spending their money on, what we're requesting, what is out there. And I tell people this every day when they're talking to me about the budget. Go out there and look at it. I look at it all the time because I'm just amazed by how anybody can access that. Anybody can access that. It doesn't have to be a board member. It doesn't have to be an administrator of our school system. It is just anybody can go out there onto our website and look at that. And then if you got questions around things, you can ask those questions. That's transparency. That's the way of putting it out there to people, what is being spent from the school system, what we're requesting, and why we're requesting it. And I feel like our community now is understanding, and I think some didn't. I think like what you said, Dr. Fleming, possibly some of the county commissioners might not have understood, but the 5.7, and I say this in a jokingly way, but it's a serious thing. Our 5.7 request is not us trying to put spinners on buses. it is us trying to help pay our bus drivers more. It is us trying to make sure that we're covering our employees, but then on top of that, that we're handling the operations of a growing school system. We sat in transfer appeal meetings and was looking at our capacity numbers. Our capacity numbers continue to go up. Mrs. Prevette, who spoke tonight, talked that situation is off a capacity issue. So we're seeing that the growth is happening in our school system. The growth is happening in our county. We need for our community members to get behind it, and thank you to Commissioner Carter on urging people to reach out to them. Please reach out to them. We're always urging you to reach out to us as a school board member, but reach out to the county commissioners because you are their constituents also, so they need to hear from you on what you want. And if you are a true supporter of public education, we need for you to stand up with us in this moment to help us push along the fact that our budget request needs to be fully funded or close to fully funded as possible so we can do the things that are truly needed as a growing school system. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Questions or comments from other board members? Dr. Parker?
I can go ahead and jump in. You'd mentioned the federal maintenance of effort, and then for the North Carolina low wealth, the methods that you show that the county is providing enough. Do you have a sense of what those numbers are? So if the county said, okay, we want to make sure that you're able to fully match federally and to get the full low wealth funding, do you have a sense of kind of what that is, just rough order of magnitude?
I don't know if Mr. Messer has that number, and I can tell you this year, we're looking at being cut $5 million on low wealth, so it's not the number it's not even the number we're currently funded at. So,
Yeah, I'd have to get that information and get back to you. I don't have that information in front of me, as far as the actual tax rate that would get us there. Plus, I would need to consult with Raleigh and DPI too to make sure that the number we're coming up with is really where we need it to be.
Got it. And I guess I'm asking in a very simple or maybe even simplistic way. It's almost like not contributing enough to your retirement plan to get the match from the company. It's and I don't know what that number is or the percentage, but I think that perhaps the commissioners will be interested in knowing the number, even whatever they decide to do with it.
And I apologize, I looked it up one time, and I hate to guess, but the general rule of thumb is if your county is considered to be low wealth and the effective property tax rate is the state average or above, then you're fine with low wealth. You're going to you receive it. We are way below. We are way below that.
I'm going to go back to my computer, and I'll have the answer before the end of the meeting.
I just don't remember what the rate is for the average.
Got it. Thank you.
And that changes every year too. So.
Thank you, Dr. Parker.
No other
You have more questions?
Nothing else at this point.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from board members? I just want to say thank you to everyone that has reached out and connected with board members that are helping to share the message publicly. We appreciate your advocacy, and we do ask that you join us next Monday evening at the public budget hearing to respectfully advocate for public education and what that looks like. The budget that this board approved to make that part of our request, if all of this plays out like it is at present, that's about a $20 million impact to the board or to this district, if I'm not correct.
That's correct. It would be 20 or even possibly more with a $12 million low wealth. You're maybe even looking closer to 22 or so. But the other thing I think it's important, because I know we talk a lot about traditional public education. At this current cut, you're looking at close to $1 million, if I did the math right in my head, close to about 1.4 to 1.5 million reduction in charter school funding to the charter schools that have Alamance County students.
All right. Anything else? We look forward to talking more about this at the next meeting. We do have a work session with the commissioners on June 9th, so we have the opportunity to sit together and dive a little deeper into the budget request and why we feel like it's vital to get that funding in place. But Thank you, Mr. Messer. Thank you, Dr. Fleming. Thank you
Thank both of
to
you.
the cabinet for your work. We'll continue to press on. At this time, I welcome Mr. Hook to the podium for our next three agenda items.
Madam Chair, Dr. Fleming, members of the board, typically in May, my department works on communicating with the jurisdictions to make sure that the SRO MOU is written as we desire and as they desire. And so tonight, I'm presenting you all with the SRO MOU is information. Each of the 6 jurisdictions prior to the recent budget news had all agreed to this, and I feel like it's intact. And so I'm presenting it to you tonight as information, and we'll have it on the late June agenda, the consent agenda, and it'll have all 6 of the jurisdiction chief and sheriff's signatures on there, along with the signature place for the board chair and the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Hook. Any questions? Mr. Rogers?
I guess just one. Since we were just talking about the SROs and everything in that budget, what impact would that have on this MOU?
I don't think it would have any impact. The MOU describes the SRO program and the activities of the SRO at the school, the SRO's supervisors, and up the chain, and how we communicate with the SROs. So I'm hopeful about the funding outcome. And so the SRO MOU represents the program, not necessarily the funding.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hook.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any other questions?
Yeah, just quickly, so I understand that they do one of these pretty much every year, and I looked at the one I could find from before, and a lot of times when we do policies, it's the track changes in Microsoft Word, and you can see if something has changed. But it looks like this, there's nothing really material that's different. It's from this year to the next. I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to call out.
There were no changes from last year to this year. In the prior year, when we changed directions and started having an SRO coordinator work out of our safety department in that year, so that would be a couple of years ago, we did have some changes on how the SRO leads communicate with our SRO coordinator. So you can see those kind of things written in there, but they were in there last year as well, and were all acceptable to the jurisdictions.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Any other questions? All right, we will see this on our consent agenda at the late June meeting. Thank you, Mr. Hook.
All right, the next item that I have for you is consideration of a resolution for a design build RFQ. This is aligned with the county manager's presentation of her CIP. I have confidence that that CIP funding as it's written will stay intact. What we're trying to do is to move this along, because posting an RFQ and then going through the selection process can be lengthy, and we'd like to be ready when the funds drop, presuming that they do drop. So just a little background on this. Dennis, if you open up the details on the left, I had shown some of this information in the past. These are the kind of things that would be involved. What the county manager has written into their CIP for the school system in the next year is funding of $4,180,000 for Graham High School replacement and upgrades of HVAC across the entire campus. Originally, in February of 2024, the roofing engineer that was employed by the county commissioners to conduct the HVAC engineer that was employed by the county commissioners had presented a suggested budget of $5,730,000 for HVAC upgrades at Graham High School. When the county commissioners agreed to sell the remaining bond funds, which was approximately $20 million about a year ago, they provided $1,550,000 at Graham High School so we could go ahead and change out the HVAC equipment in pod buildings A, B, C, and D, which leaves the rest of the campus. The original budget of $5,730,000 minus the $1,550,000 that was provided leaves that $4.1 million that Ms. York has put in her CIP. So what we would be doing is pursuing an RFQ to address all of these things. The biggest and most difficult item, I think, on that list would be putting air conditioning in the gym. Some of you have seen the apparatus that had to be installed in the Williams gym in order to get that connected correctly. The gym is a more difficult situation, so that would be one of the larger ticket items included in here, and also with the replacement of the chiller at Graham High School as well. So this list just illustrates the kind of things that would be involved there. The DOAS units are fresh air units, which the school did not have.
Thank you, Mr. Hook. Any questions from any of the board members? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
I hear a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
All right, thank you. The next item that I have, Walter Williams High School request to name their basketball court in Spike's Gymnasium in honor of former staff member and coach Tommy Cole. So this is an honor for Coach Cole. If you, Dennis, open up the left link, this is what they would like the court to look like once they've been given permission by you all to name it Tommy Cole Court. Dennis, the other link illustrates the achievements of Coach Cole as a staff member. Dennis, can you open the other link? So this was provided by the athletic director at Williams High School, and it illustrates the achievements of Coach Cole as a staff member and as a player and as a coach.
Thank you, Mr. Hook. Any questions or comments from the board?
Not really a question, but a comment. I think this is a great honor for Coach Cole. I know he played there, was there for a long time as an educator, but also as a coach. I think at one time he was coaching the boys and girls varsity teams at the same time. So I think that's great. So yeah, I think that's an awesome honor for him. Just I guess a side note question is to ask around maybe a look at our policy on like honoring or naming things after coaches. I know I think currently right now it's that the coach or the person has to be retired from the school, and I think I know one, but I think there's a couple of coaches that possibly could be honored while they're still doing the job, because who knows when they're going to actually retire. And you can start to give people their flowers while they can definitely smell them and still in the business of it. So
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any other questions, comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is well deserved from Coach Cole. I mean, 40 years, no telling how many young men and women that he reached out to and helped in their educational endeavor and also athletics over the years.
All right. I believe you're looking for a vote on this one this evening.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Dr. Parker.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Hook.
I did want to ask one more question back to item number 2. We had a resolution linked there, and I just wanted to point that out, that it's linked up. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I will open it up for board and superintendent comments, and we'll let Dr. Fleming kick us off this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. First, I want to welcome Dr. Hall to the Board of Education, and congratulations. We look forward to working with you, and know that my door and phone are always open, and whatever I can do to make your term successful, I'd love to be able to do that. I hope all of you had a great Memorial Day weekend. We're less than 2 weeks away from the end of the school year and graduation of the class of 2025. Congratulations to all of our seniors. We're proud of you and wish the best in your future endeavors. As you know, this past week has not been without news. Last week, the county commissioner released her recommended budget to the county commissioners, and we have, and to the public, and we have discussed that at length. Over the past month, we celebrated our staff, as May is a big month in education celebrations. And thank you to those who participated in and organized our visit from Governor Stein and State Superintendent Green. I attended the Alexander Wilson STEAM event, and I believe Mr. Engel was there with me as well. The Crossroads Fashion Show fundraiser. I hope there's no videos of that anywhere. But that was a fun evening, and thank you to Ms. Harvey and to our Madam Chair here for attending that and getting plenty of pictures that I hope they don't save for my retirement someday. But that's right. Yes. Yeah. Definitely do not give that to the media. I had honor of being invited and attending the retirement celebration of Dr. Mary Jo Cagle, the CEO of Cone Health. They had a very nice reception for her at the Stephen Tanger Center in Greensboro, and we appreciate all her work. I haven't been here very long, but she was a main driver in getting the telehealth, Cone Health's telehealth into Highland. I think not Highland, sorry, Hillcrest, and it has been a major driver in keeping kids in school. Just that one little instance of it. So think about if we had that in all of our schools, certainly all of our Title I schools, but really all of our schools. I think it's a game changer, and Cone Health is one of the early innovative hospital systems to start that in schools, and I think that's something to be said in something of her leadership. I attended the parent engagement program graduation by Impact Alamance, and this is in addition to several of our schools that I visited over the past month. We had our final Student and Teacher Advisory Council meeting of the year. Thank you to the Alamance Chamber for hosting the Excellence in Education event. Congratulations to Wendy Lamson. I think Ms. Lamson's left for the evening. Being named our newest Teacher of the Year. As a reminder, our next meeting will be our June 10th work session at 12:30. That doesn't include the work sessions and public comments and all on the commissioner's side. That's just our next work session, June 10th, 12:30. I believe those are all my comments this evening, and happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Fleming. Questions for Dr. Fleming? Thank you for what you're doing in the district. All right, who wants to kick off board comments? Yes, Mr. Engel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Of course, as you know, May is a busy month for school board members, particularly.
Dr. Parker's getting on us.
I'm going to learn one of these days. How's that? Thank you. It's a very busy month, and of course, Dr. Fleming's right. We went to the STEM, to their banquet, and it was great. And I had a grandson in there, so that made it greater. That was Alexander Wilson group. JAC meeting on the 6th of May. E.M. Holt, their DARE program. I was a guest speaker on the 8th of May. We had our early college graduation. I think it was 62 graduates, if I'm not mistaken, and that was our chair, myself, Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Meekin. So we had a great time with those young people. So smart. I mean, good night. The places they're going to school, most of them's already got their 2-year degree. You know, at ACC. So they're really excelling, and I was proud of all of them. Sandy and I went. If any of the others would, Dr. Fleming was there also. The $90,000 that was raised over at Western High School for this is for restrooms for the baseball field, the stadium, and also switch over to the softball field over at Western Middle School, also over there. So thanks to the boosters, Western Alamance boosters, and also the corporations and the individuals for their participation. That's a lot of money, and they raised it. Dr. Hall, we welcome you, sir. We really do. We're excited about it. We've got a wonderful board, and I think you're going to have fun here. It's going to be a lot of work, but we certainly welcome you here. My last comment, and I'll be quiet. June the 2nd, at the old courthouse, at 6 o'clock, 6:30. Thank you, Madam Chair. There, the county commissioners are going to open up public comments for the budget. If you'd like to attend, feel free to come. I will be there, and I'm sure a lot of us will be there also. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Not to put you on the spot, Dr. Hall, you want me to come back to you, or? Okay.
I've obviously been pretty quiet today. I'm still learning, and from my own experience joining groups, I'm always hesitant to have somebody jump in right away and just start talking, and so I promise you I'll be more vocal in the future. But I really appreciate everybody up here who has been very open and welcoming to me being on the board, and I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and do some work for our community. Thank you. One more thing is lots of celebrations in May, but we also know that May and early June is also time for testing. So good luck to all the students out there. Both my kids are going through EOGs this week, and I know that in the upcoming week, and know how stressful that is, but just good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. Ms. Harvey, you want us to come back to you?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of our speakers who came out tonight to speak on things that mattered to them. Also, it was amazing to see so many students in here tonight for special recognitions. To come in and see all of these seats completely full, and it was literally by students and students who are out there doing amazing things. That matters. Teachers who are out there doing amazing things. It matters, and it shows every day. Thank you to our students who show up every day. Thank you to our teachers, our staff, our members who get up every day and show up. We know up here that it is not easy every day to show up, but you do it. You do it in spite of it all, and we just want to say thank you. Thank you to the cabinet who continues to work diligently every day, doing great things, doing things sometimes that goes unnoticed and unrecognized, but I just want you to know tonight that we appreciate all that you do. I'm going to piggyback off of what Dan said. We do need people to show up on June the 2nd at 6:30. We need people to come out in support of our budget, in support of what we need, in support of what our students, our teachers, and our staff needs to keep this thing going, because we know that at the end of the day, we're only asking for what we need. We're not asking for what we want, but what we need to make this work. It is only fair to our students to get up every day and come to a school, and a school that is properly working, a school that has staff, a school that has teachers, a school that wants them there. That's what our students need. If the roof is leaking, our students can't be at that school. If there's no teachers in the school, our students can't be at that school. So what and who do we care about? Is it our students or is it our pockets? We can't worry about our pockets. We have to focus on what our students need at the end of the day. I do want to say Happy birthday, Dan. He came in today and he had on a different color suit, and I was like, wow, I really like the color of that suit. And then he said, it's my birthday. So it is not his birthday suit, but it is his birthday. So happy birthday, Dan. We appreciate all that you do. Last week I was able to attend my first graduation with ABEC. Super proud of those students. Like Dan said, they are doing amazing things. You know, students who not only did they get their high school graduation, but they also got college degrees. That is amazing. And the workload that was put on them, you know, these kids were still smiling at the end of the day like, hey, we're ready for some more. So congratulations to each one of them. Congratulations also to Cummings Outdoor Track Team, who won another state championship. I have to say that because my daughter, who is in the 11th grade, is on that team, and they did amazing. Also, huge congratulations to Dr. Parker's daughter, Catherine. Listen, guys, I was in the stands, and she was running, and she had such a head. She was so far ahead of the rest of the people. I was in awe. I just didn't know how she was doing it, but hey, congratulations to Catherine on all that she does. And if Sandy, correct me if I'm wrong, we went to Queens for Cuisine, right? We did. At Hillcrest. So thank you to Hillcrest for having us. And I just want to let you guys know, Hillcrest made me an honorary member. I'm just putting that out there, okay? I have my certificate. If anyone wants to see it, it is validated, okay? No. So thank you again to each and every one who show up. Just thank you for all that you do. Again, we appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Dr. Parker?
I used most of my words earlier during the recognition, so this hopefully will be relatively quick for everyone and maybe even painless. I'd like to welcome Dr. Hall to the board as well. And as far as the recognitions, I'm going to piggyback on something Ms. Harvey said. One thing that I also saw in the crowd, in addition to the students and parents and then the teachers, there are a lot of principals. And I don't know if you know this, but probably everyone who's hung on to this part of the meeting does. They have something every evening, practically every evening. You know, the day doesn't end at 5 o'clock or whenever. They come because they care about the students. And so I wanted to call them out a little bit more, but it was clear it was off hours and that would make things more awkward than it already was. I'd like to echo the good luck to everyone doing the EOGs and EOCs. Go to sleep early, get off your phone. And finally, and we'll probably talk more about this after the graduations, but in some ways those are the best parts of being on the school board is going, you really see the character that each school is different, and you really get to share a little bit in the joy that the students have and maybe some of the parents that their child actually graduated, and it really is fantastic. So if you're wondering about whether you should actually go to the graduation that a friend or whatever invited you to, please do. If there's a seat for you, it's the best. And I will say thanks for the kind words about Catherine. She told me I couldn't post this on Facebook, but she ended up with 13 state titles. One was from Eastern, and so it's a little bit connected to ABSS. Thank you.
Mr. Parker or Dr. Parker?
Yes.
She was amazing.
Good luck following that one, Seneca. Thank you, Dr. Parker.
Yeah, there was such great comments. I was going to ask the same thing that Mr. Avery asked about who does she take all the great running from and everything. But yes, thank you to every one of our public speakers tonight. Appreciate you always coming out, making the public comments. I was talking to a community member earlier today, and they were like, is tonight when people can make their public comments? I said, yes, at all of our evening meetings, people can make their public comments at all of our evening meetings. So make sure you come out if you have something you want to speak on, but also email us in between time. Welcome, Dr. Hall. up here on the board. Dan said it's going to be fun, so I'm going to say, hey, it's going to be fun. You had a record crowd out tonight. I don't know if you beat my record. I mean, when I got appointed, I mean, we had a big crowd that night too. Maybe not because of me, but hey, it was a big crowd. But yes, welcome to the board. Appreciate you being up here with us and working for our community. It was great to see your family tonight and everything too. I pulled up my phone calendar because, as my wife would tell you, she never wants to look at my calendar because she says I'm always all over the place. So I wanted to pull that up to make sure I didn't miss some of the places that I did go in May. One of the things I want to shout out is helping serve breakfast at North Graham Elementary with Sandy, Tamika, and Dr. Fleming. Hey, Dr. Fleming, he's a superintendent, but I think also he is a bartender or like a cart, you know what I'm saying, a cart officiant, because he was moving that cart around and he was like, hey, we got juice, we got lemonade, he was keeping it going and everything. One time he wanted to just pick up the cart and take it up some steps. I mean, hey, so we got a strong superintendent, not just a superintendent that, you know what I'm saying, is well educated. Also I've got to attend the Queens and Pearls teen conference that they had at the Graham Rec. I was a part of an adult panel who was talking to kids about our life experiences. It was a great time. Also, they had a teen panel that was talking about growing up in these times. So it was great. And I want to shout out the person who was over that, Mrs. Angie Solomon, because she is an ABSS employee. And she also got recognized by Graham City Council, I think, 2 weeks ago for her community work, too. So I wanted to shout her out with her being an ABSS employee. I did enjoy the ABEC graduation along with you all. I mean, graduation season is always a great time. It's an enjoyable time because looking at some of these kids, these are kids who I've done seen for so many years, throughout the years, from knowing their parents, and then also with my nephew and godson being right there at their age. So it's a lot of their friends. And I'm going to actually be on stage next Friday at Williams when my godson graduates. And then I get the opportunity in a year to be up there with my nephew. So that's going to be incredible. Also, I visited Hillcrest and got to see Dr. Reed. They didn't give me no certificate or anything, so I'm going to have to talk to her about that because next year she's actually going to have my niece in the school. So I feel like I'm going to need something back off of that. We're handing you over my niece. I need a certificate. And then also last week I got to visit Smith and read to their second grade class along with my friend DeWanna Bigelow, who's a councilwoman for the city of Burlington. It was a great time seeing all of the kids and then allowing for them to ask questions to me about being on the school board. And, you know, the second graders' hands were just going up. It was stuff about the school board. Then it was stuff about sidewalks. Then it was stuff about what's your favorite color and, you know, who's your favorite basketball player and all of that stuff. But it's always just great visiting the schools and being around the kids and the teachers and everything. And thank you to all of our staff in ABSS. We're coming down to the end of the year. It is exam time. It is people getting ready to try to finish and push everything across this finish line to end off this year correctly. So for all of our students, make sure you got those assignments turned in. Make sure you got them turned in. And I say that because I deal with a couple of teenagers and I'm always talking to them about, do you have your assignments turned in? So make sure you got those assignments turned in. And also make sure that you're trying to help your teachers out at the end of the year because it's a time where they're trying to finish out just like you are. So be helpful to your teachers and all the rest of the school staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Wagner?
Man, there's some tough ones to follow up. First, I'd like to announce that once again, a state soccer championship will run through Alamance County. The Western Alamance girls won tonight, overtime 1-0. Congratulations to the Warriors. I'm a Williams guy, but I'll cheer for the Warriors now, so we just cheer them on. Dr. Hall, welcome. I can tell you this is a great board to be a part of. It's non-political. We get behind closed doors. We get things done, betterment for the community, not better for politics. So welcome. Look forward to working with you. Congratulations to our students and staff who are here tonight. It's an honor to give these awards. It means a lot to us to give those awards to you because it's important to recognize you. I can assure this community that we are working for you. This budget issue is a challenge. It's a hit in the gut this past week, but I promise you, this board, this administration, and this cabinet is going to do all we can to ensure our schools are fully funded. I've looked at this budget 10,000 times. There's no fluff in it. Folks, there is no fluff in it. It is a need. In my business background, I dealt with fluff, and I dealt with fluff, and I've dealt with needs. These are needs we have for this community. We've kicked the can down the road too many years. It's time to step up and fully fund our system so future students have adequate facilities to go to school. To all the teachers and staff, thank you for your work this year. I know it's not easy, but thank you for all that you do. Good luck to students on your final exams. Remember, next year's coming soon, so we want you in that next grade. Be prepared for next year. And lastly, everybody have a safe, great summer. Do all you can. Go to work, take care of your parents, and be ready for next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Just to echo a lot of what you guys have said, I want us to finish the school year strong and safe summer. Congratulations to our graduates especially, but also congratulations to all of our students and our families. And, you know, just thank you again for those that have reached out about the budget. Thank you for the cordial conversation that I've had with a lot of people. We end up talking about the libraries. We end up talking about county services. So it's not just ABSS, and we recognize we're not the only county department that's asking. But again, like Mr. Wagner said, we're asking for a need, and we feel like our kids deserve it. So again, just one more time, Monday night, June 2nd, Old Historic Courthouse in the middle of Court Square at 6:30. Please come. We do ask that you advocate for public schools, but we do ask that you do it respectfully, please. And that's all I have. So I will turn the floor over to our vice chairman for a motion.
Let me start over. I make a motion, we enter closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3 to preserve attorney-client privilege. North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A6 to consider confidential personal information protected under North Carolina General Statute 115C-319 and 115C-321.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously 7-0. We will move into closed session at this time. We are back in open session. At this time, I invite our Chief Human Resources Director, Ms. Yolanda Anderson, to the podium.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Fleming. I have two requests this evening. First, I'm requesting that you approve the personnel report as amended in closed session.
Thank you.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0.
Second, I am requesting to approve the temporary additional summer assignments for tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Mr. Engel and I will be recusing ourselves from this vote because we have family members on that report. Board members, is there a motion to approve the temporary summer assignments?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other business before the board this evening?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Dr. Parker. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Harvey. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Don't hide those hats, Dan. All in favor, any opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 7-0.